Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for the interest you show to our game, Association Football, and to the institution that is in charge of this game, FIFA. We have had during the week a number of committee meetings, about, say, 15, 16, about that, and the Executive Committee yesterday and today. And here are the important items that we have discussed, and some of them are ongoing because it's like in our life, football will never stop, and the ball, when once entered into the goal, the objective, you bring it back and you restart the game. One of the important items discussed today, without finding a solution or a definite solution, is really one of the aspects that put our game not only in disrepute, but put our game against the essence of the game. It means the result of the game. I'm speaking about illegal betting and match fixing. This is really a matter of big concern to the Executive Committee, shall be for the whole football family, because what is so attractive in our game, when we compare it to the classical Greek tragedy with the unity of time, unity of lieu, and unity of action, but the uncertainty of the result, contrary to the theater where you know the issue. In football, never. And when it is changed, or people like to change it, then something is wrong. You know that we have started years ago already with the early warning system. We have now this very effective partnership with Interpol. We have inside the FIFA also created a security division. We are working with governmental authorities. We are working together with the confederations and national associations. But what is more important and necessary, I would say, and this came also out in a discussion I have had with the Prime Minister in Moldova, in Chisinau, where the professional league is also affected by this match fixing. It is solidarity. Solidarity amongst those, they are in the game, and especially appealing to the players, to coaches, referees, those that are on the field of play. For the players, in the same time, it's not only appeal to them to disclose whatever they could be touched, but it's also to defend their interests. And you know that our family of football is 300 million people, and it is not so easy to control these people inside. Let's say on the field of play, maybe you have a referee and time limit, and you have boundaries, goal line and touch line, but outside you don't have that. But danger is coming from outside, inside the game. And this is for us of concern. We will follow this matter very carefully. We will have a report next Executive Committee in December from the Interpol. You know that in the meantime we have organized a special office, or let's say a kind of schooling office, school in Singapore, to train people how to fight against this match fixing. Okay, this is one part. Another part, an important part, our reform process according to the roadmap established in July 2011 is going on. And after the Congress of 2012 now in Budapest, we have already realized the implementation of the Audit and Compliance Committee with an independent chairman, Mr. Scala. They are working. They will be in the second meeting beginning October. And we have now the two chambers in the Ethics Committee, the investigatory chamber under the chairmanship of Mr. Garcia, and the executive chamber or the tribunal with Mr. Hans-Jörg Eckert as the chairman. They are in full working, not only spirit, they work. Just for your information, they are actually in Zurich or surroundings here in Zurich, and they are working here. But they are independent, so we will not interfere what they are doing. The Committee for Good Governance, Independent Committee for Good Governance, I had a meeting with them yesterday. I reported on the progresses we have made. And I will have a meeting with Professor Piet later this afternoon to make a point where we are and where they are and how far we shall go with our cooperation. Next year we have fixed not only the goal, but also the strategy how to come to the revision of the statutes. And for the revision of the statutes, we will have now a new working group. Let's say the other task forces, they have finished their work. We thank them for what they have done. And now we are working to implement these proposals of statutes. Some of them have been implemented in the Congress 2012. And the others now, it's a group which is composed then by the Secretary Generals of the confederations and the directors of legal matters of this confederation, and naturally the Secretary General of FIFA and the legal director of FIFA, and under the guidance of Mr. Zwanziger, and they will start to have a meeting already here in October. Then it's foreseen regularly, November if necessary, and December, because what is important, we have also to ask the national associations what they want to have in the new statutes, and not only saying the Executive Committee is doing that. There was quite a discussion on how to approach the best this problem, but finally we found this solution, and we are going forward. With that, we will be able then in 2013 to present to the Congress a proposal for statutes that the same committees, the same associations, they will take the decisions, they will have had the opportunity to contribute it to the editing of this statutes. What more? We have spoken about the World Cup Brazil, but we are not speaking again the World Cup Brazil. But what is more important, it is Russia 2018. We are flying with the Secretary General and also with your press officer, okay, to Moscow. And there will be a big show tomorrow night where already the cities and the stadia for the 2018 World Cup will be disclosed, and where we will receive also some guarantees and information, and just as information for you, we will also meet the president of the Russian Federation, Mr. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. The Committee for National Associations has taken different steps to help national associations in their endeavor, and especially in their sometimes collusion with political authorities. So we have had to deal with problems in Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Maldives, and where we have extended the deadline to reassess their statutes or to make relevant elections in a certain time period. Furthermore, we have also taken the decision that we have to include in our FIFA statutes that the statutes of the National Association, they must be in conformity of FIFA statutes, and at least they must have a General Assembly every second year, at least. Some of them, they have General Assembly 3 years, 4 years, and it's absolutely necessary. There was another point in this matter on the agenda. It was the decision already taken by the Executive Committee to allow national associations in FIFA to play some kind of football with the not yet recognized Federation of Kosovo, but the Executive Committee was of the opinion, and I was in the same opinion, let us some time to regulate all the modalities, and we will come back on that in December, on the 14th of December in Tokyo. On the wonderful side of the competitions, we have had 2.2 million people, 2.2 million tickets sold for the Olympic football tournament, more than 600,000 for women, 1.6 for men. Incredible, but we are not the beneficiaries of these ticket sales. It's the local organizing committee. Anyway, it's a wonderful year for women's football. We have had the under-20 in Japan with the victory of United States of America beating Germany in the final. And I just came back from the opening of the under-17 in Azerbaijan. And here, okay, they have made a wonderful opening ceremony with the Cirque du Soleil and Jennifer Lopez. That's brand new for us. But what is more important is that we play. FIFA is playing for the first time a Women's World Cup under 17 in an Islamic country. And this is a historical momento for our game. It is also a very positive sign for women's football in all cultures, and I am sure that this will have a great impact in this culture all around the world. It seems, or it looks, that everybody can play football, and all women around the world, they can play football. Well, I'm not going into the results of this under-17, where we have seen that the quality of teams are a little bit, the gap between the best and those they just start with women's football to come in, there is a great gap. But it's the start of international competition. Speaking about the international competition, we will have the World Indoor Futsal in November in Thailand with 24 teams. And we will have the FIFA Club World Cup in Japan in December. And just to say that for next time, the addition to 13 and to 14 for the FIFA's Club World Cup, will be in Morocco. With Marrakesh and Agadir already have been chosen to the two stadia, the two cities where we played. And surprise, FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup will be played next year, 2013, in Tahiti. And you cannot believe that for the time being, we have 13 national associations asking to organize the Beach Soccer World Cup in 2015. 13 national associations. And we have taken the decision there is no need for an association to have access to the sea. It is enough if they have access to a lake or to sand. And I think sand we will find everywhere in the world. Voilà. Having said that, we have the Executive Committee in an agenda of 26 points. We have also discussed very briefly about communication in FIFA. We will have a possibility then at the next meeting of the ExCo and also inform you some developments in our communication systems to be nearby you and you nearby us. Thank you anyway for being here. And if I look into my papers, yes, in the medical committee is something to add. You will remember that we have had problems after the last World Cup with the insurances of players, and then also with medical doctors not being on the same level of assessment of injuries. Well, first of all, we have now an insurance for all players for the World Cup 2014 and the whole qualification. But still, such problems can happen. It was a problem between Holland and Germany and the player Robben, I think it was the player Robben. And to avoid that, we will have now, we had a meeting here with team doctors from the biggest team. I will not name everyone, but Boca Juniors, Barcelona, Chelsea, and so on. They came here to find a protocol how to deal and to make sure that if there is a difference of appreciation, to have a kind of referee to say who is right or not. You know, if you have two doctors, I think you have three different opinions. This is not the case in refereeing if you use only one referee. We have also spoken about the decisions taken by the international board, and this is, you know it, we do not come back in details. It is a nonsense to speak about a triple punishment, because red card is always a triple punishment inside or outside the penalty mark. It's always a triple punishment, but it's not necessarily a red card inside the penalty mark if the infringement to the laws of the game is only sanctionable by a yellow card. It's just a question of appreciation for the referees. We have repeatedly said that the goal line technology is now available. We will use both systems which we have, which the international board has agreed to in the Confederations Cup. The one is the goal ref, and the other one is the Hawkeye. We have two stadia, and one will be equipped with one system, and the other one. Club World Cup. Club World Cup. What I have said, World Cup. Nations Cup, you say. Club World Cup to the Club World Cup now. Thank you, in Japan, and then we will then decide which one we will use later on for the Confederations Cup and the World Cup. Concerning the two additional referees as well, it is not compulsory. They can be used or not used. And it is now a movement inside the international board also to say it is not compulsory that they are on the left side or on the right side. This is the problem with refereeing. We could speak hours and hours on that. But this gives me the last information in the week now, and finishing now. We have had 52 referees pre-selected for the World Cup in Brazil 2014, 52 referees coming from all the confederations. And this is not a closed list. 4 years ago, we have started with a closed list. This is an open list. It means you can add or you can take some out of them. And this was his first get-together, and they started to have a medical check. And all the 52, they passed the medical check. I'm not so sure that all of them, they passed the physical check. But it's a matter of referees. Then we will have the assistant referees coming in 2 groups this autumn. One group will be Africa and Europe, and the other group will be the rest of the world coming here. Twice 52 assistant referees will be here in these courses. I think now I went through all the agenda, and if I have forgot something, you will find it in the media release. And I am at your disposal for questions, and I would be happy if I'm able to answer.
Thank you very much. So we're in a very comfortable situation. It's almost a one-to-one situation. So we start with Brian, please.
Mr. President, could I, just on the last part, you mentioned the referees behind the goal and not being compulsory. Have you definitely ruled out using these extra referees at the World Cup? And if so, why have you done so? Because UEFA seemed to think that it worked very well at Euro 2012, and it stopped all that pushing in the penalty area and improved the behaviour of the players.
Well, listen, thank you for the question. According to the decision taken by the international board, first of all, to use or not use additional assistant referees is free. It's not compulsory, and it's a competition regulation. They may do it. Just to give a general approach. There are not so many associations in the world of football they can afford to have for the matches of their leagues, even in the professional leagues, to have so many referees available. Because the additional referees, they must have the same quality than the referee in the middle, otherwise it will not work. This is the first principle. Second principle now, which will be changed by the international board. You know that in the second phase of these experiments which were made, the additional referee was on the side where there was no linesman. And then they put them where is the linesman. But now you have on one side, you have an additional referee in the linesman. And then people were thinking it could be better on the other side. So we are still in an experimental system. And the board will now say you can put it on the right or on the left. Now, concerning the FIFA competition, the World Cup qualification phase, in all around the world is done with the conservative system, 1 referee, 2 assistant referees, and the 4th official. This is the pattern of the World Cup. And I am not going to say now what is the final decision for the World Cup. But if you have a system you run for the qualification, then you should have the same system in the final. This is a logical approach. And let us wait and see how many of the national associations they will use now these additional assistant referees or not, and how it will work in the different leagues. But in most of the countries of the world, they don't have enough referees, even from time to time in the first or second division, to have one referee available. So to have 3 per match, not so easy. But it will be a development in refereeing.
Jamil first, please.
Mr. Blatter, Jamil Shadi, São Paulo, Brazil. You spoke about medical conditions of players. You have always spoke about the quality of football in the World Cup, but what we saw yesterday on the agenda of the World Cup in 2014 were several games in the most, let's say, the warmest times of the days in the northeast of Brazil and in the north of Brazil. Why was this chosen, and do you fear that the quality of football will not be as high as you wish because of a game played at 1 o'clock right in the middle of the day in the northeast of Brazil, the hottest region, one of them at least?
Thank you. The first part of question, I give it to the Secretary General of FIFA, Jerome Valk, who is in charge of the World Cup. But I will come to another part of your question. So you have the privilege to answer.
So the question is about the match schedule or the timing. I mean, there is not much choice on the match schedule, and we have to adapt ourselves and to adapt the match schedule to the different kick-off time we have available. And even more, we play 4 games as the second day of the competition, having decided there will be only 1 day on the opening game, for the opening game. We have been discussing with our medical department, we have been discussing with the local organizing committee, and finally also with football specialists, and they all agreed that this kick-off time, wherever we put them, so it's true from south of the country to northeast and the different part of Brazil, we're still time where players can play without any problem. So there was an agreement from all parts that it was, I mean, one team will not suffer more the other one, and we will not give a benefit to one team versus the others.
Sorry, just to follow, Brazil will play in the best moments of the day always.
Lucky. They are lucky. I mean, Brazil is A1, I mean, from day one, and the match schedule has not been made for Brazil. Otherwise, you would have a game in Rio before the final. You could say that, which is not the case. So the match schedule has not been organized just for Brazil to win this World Cup. But again, I mean, it's true that they are lucky and they are playing in very good conditions. At least, I would say, at least average conditions. If you compare with some of the teams who will play in south in a cold zone, because we know how cold it could be in Porto Alegre, or a bit warmer when you go up to north.
I just want to add something on that. The history of football has shown that excellent football and great players, they play in all conditions. Let's go back to the World Cup to Mexico in 1968, in 1970, and then especially in 1986. We played high noon, 12 o'clock, and on 2,400 or 2,800 meters. And the quality of the game will not suffer. Athletes are now there. And in a competition, if you have 32 teams, and if you have to finish this competition, you don't have this privilege than the other football has, the union football, where they need at least 5 days to rest before they can play again. I think, you know that in difficult conditions, and we have just witnessed it now also in these youth competitions, women's youth competitions. If it's too hot, then we can stop the game, you can cool down, you can interrupt the game, you can, and intake of beverages, and we take care also of the health of the players. You will remember, 25 years ago, the referees, they They have said it is forbidden to drink water during the match. You have been in such competition. I have been in such competition where players were there and thirsty. And now this all has been changed because we want to take care of the health of the players. But you cannot avoid in a program where you have 64 matches to be played in 30 days, then you have to play somewhere at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And look at also the international time zones. Somewhere it will be a good time for them, somewhere not. That's life.
And if I may add, you cannot shrink the country. The country is huge, so if you want to play all over, you have to end up in the Northeast as well. So, but next question maybe here, yes, please.
Jerry McNee from Scotland. Mr. Blatter, you said some time ago that you would look at the Brazil World Cup, the group stage, try and make it more attractive by stopping teams colluding to play a deliberate draw at the expense of another nation. Has any progress been made on that thought?
Yes, a lot of progress have been made, but only in my mind for the time being. So it's on my desk still. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Graham, please. Graham Dunbar.
Thank you. Graham Dunbar from the Associated Press. On the reform process, of course, we're at a sort of quiet stage at the moment, sort of getting ready for the second phase. But the message from Professor Piet in Denmark last week is clearly some frustration, not necessarily with you, but he said maybe some older members of the EXCO. He felt like they could have done more, and we've seen one confederation has given the presidency for life. Another confederation has changed election rules to take away some of the best candidates for that election. Whatever the positive messages coming from Zurich, it seems like in the confederations it's still a bit of business as usual. What was your message to your EXCO when you discussed point number 23 on the agenda? And do you have a sense that the confederations need to do more, to be more flexible, to be more positive about the reform process for it to be seen as a success at the Congress next year?
It's always a question of perception and the question of reality. I have been yesterday together with the whole committee, which was assembled here in Zurich, this independent governance committee. And correcting what Professor Piet has said in Denmark, there is no opposition in the FIFA Executive Committee towards the reform process. There is not one single member it is opposed. There are members, they were not happy about some declarations made by this independent committee or other officials involved there. But the reform process, all members are happy to support it. And this has been confirmed today. There was not one voice saying we are not in the process. But I repeat, there were some remarks concerning remarks made by other people which are involved in the reform process. Now, concerning the confederations and their constituents, which are the congresses. I was in the congress in the Seychelles in Africa. It was an extraordinary congress. There were 51 of the 53 or 54 members were present, and there was a voting, and a voting by names, and 88%, 44 of the associations voting, because one was not voting, were in favor of a new approach, and only 6 were against. This made 88% against 12%. This is the will and the wish of a confederation of the national associations. Concerning the lifetime presidents, this is one of the matters which is now in this special working group for the changes of statutes. I have just announced with the Secretary Generals, because we want to have now the professionals in this working group to go forward. One of the matters is the duration of the mandates and the age limit. If you ask my opinion on that, I would say I am against age limit. It's not only because of me, because I would not be touched by the age limit if you start by 70, because it's too old or too young. But I am in favor of a limitation of mandates, the duration of mandates. I am fully in favor. Also, I am now 37 and more in FIFA, but not always in the same mandate. But I am in favor to change, to have a limitation of mandates. But otherwise to say that there is an opposition, and I will, again, I said it yesterday to the whole group, the Executive Committee is fully behind me, because let's be honest, it is my reform, by not only by obligation, by conviction. I'm convinced that we have to do it. We started in the Congress 2011, and we go on, and it's working well. It's working well. As you have said, we are now in the middle, or I would say we have already realized a big part. We have realized a big part. The statutes will be easier to realize, because the statutes, they are not so bad, these statutes. You don't need to change everything in these statutes. Otherwise, we will not be this institution in the world we are now. Okay, we are not perfect. We cannot be perfect. We are 300 million people. But we are not a corrupt or a mafia organization. We are an institution that we take care that this game in this perturbed world where we are can bring to this perturbed world emotions and hope. We had a representative of Syria in one of the committees here. They play football in Syria. They play football in Syria. Perhaps not in Aleppo for the time being, but they play football in Syria. They have a league playing in Afghanistan. Football is played everywhere. Because football connects people. Football gives these people these emotions, the positive emotions. And even if their team loses, the next day it can win. And this is the hope. So our institution, where we have been criticized, we are bringing it back into the credibility, to the perception of the world. Because inside our world, and we have seen that in the last Congress in Budapest, you have seen with the kind of majority that all proposals which were presented have passed. All proposals, linked with persons or not linked with persons. So therefore, we are in a good mood and in a good movement. And I'm sure we will be able to succeed, because football is this wonderful game.
Next question. First, yeah, you.
Hello, this is Shingo Ito from Japan's Kyoto News Agency. In July, you have won Oman Football Association to suspend in connection with Oman Football Association's election. Is there some news about it?
Oman? No, Oman, there is no problem pending in FIFA with Oman. The Omani president was during the week here in a meeting of FIFA, and we are not aware that there is a problem. There has been a problem, but obviously this problem has been solved. Unless there is a new development that we don't know. If we know it, then we will intervene. Thank you for the question anyway. Any other question?
Yeah, we go back to Brazil.
Hello, Rodrigo Matos from WOW website. I'll get back to the match schedule that you released yesterday. Besides the warm, there is also a problem in dry in Brasilia. There is 5 matches at 1 o'clock. That it's a time that health doesn't recommend any exercise in Brasilia at that time of the year because it's too dry. And in Manaus, there is a problem with humidity also. I'd like to ask if there was any concern about the health and the quality of the football, and why there is a decision, how much did the European television wait on the final decision to have matches at 1 o'clock at these places?
Whatever we are doing, it's never right. The match schedule was wrong, the kickoff time are wrong. I mean, as the president said, there are 64 games played over a period of 32 days and with 32 teams. And we have a number of rest days we have to give them between the match group and the final phase of the tournament, etc. We have made a decision to play in whole Brazil because that was the request from Brazil. So then you have to deal with all these facts. I mean, you have a country which is not a small country, it's a continent. A country where it can be 2 degrees and 26 degrees at the same time of the day, on the same day. And then you have to bring these teams around the country because it was also a decision that the teams will not play in a part of the country but will travel all around the country to give a chance to all Brazilians to enjoy England, Germany, Italy, whomever will be qualified from the top teams, and not just seeing one part of the teams and not having a full picture of the World Cup. I can't even imagine why and how you could think that we are making decisions thinking about the televisions and not thinking about the health of the players. I mean, the first thing we need is a good World Cup, and to have a good World Cup and also for the televisions to be happy and for all people to be happy is to make sure that we have the best of football. And to have the best of football, we need the best teams and the best game. In order to do so, again, every decision we are making is taking in consideration the health of the players. And that's why, again, yes, there are periods of time where they will play in a dry environment, where it will be a bit more humid, where it will be a bit warm. But as Michel Platini told me, he said, I played at 11 in the morning. So, I mean, it's normal. It's happening, and it's not the first time that at the World Cup we play at 1. Again, when we have to play 4 games over a day, we played one game. One day we'll play a game at 10 o'clock in order to make sure that we are not playing earlier during the day. But that's a fact. But I can tell you that the health of the player and the quality of the game is on the top of the list before any other consideration, and definitely no commercial consideration is on the top of the list.
Okay, maybe last question. Brian again.
Two questions, if I may. The first one is very quickly about the South American spray that was approved by the International Board in March. Have you any plans to use that? And secondly, I wonder what your thoughts were on, are you happy with the European qualification system for the World Cup? Just as a couple of examples, Bosnia beating Liechtenstein 8-1, and the Germany match against the Faroe Islands where the Germany goalkeeper didn't touch the ball, I think. All the other confederations have preliminary matches. What do you think about that?
Well, the South American spray, they have, the International Board has said it can be used in a, let's say, an experimental way. We will try to put it in the Club World Cup to ask referees how they feel if they have this spray on their side. We have not taken the decision yes or no. We should just also consider what is the referee's answer. The idea is a good idea. I tell you, the idea is a good idea. You have a spray, and then you have it there. But don't forget that there's another item on the referee's side, and he has already a mic and a receiver. He has a mic. He has a whistle. He has a pen or 2 pens, 2 whistles, and 2 books, 1 book, 1 card here and 1 card there. He does not know finally where he has everything. He will be a little bit, I think we should not overcharge a referee with some items. If to be used, it could be if there is an additional assistant referee, he would have time to come on the field. Otherwise, he does not move, so he could move there. But you see, I'm not such a favor to add referees with more equipment. I don't think it's the right solution. It's also a question of discipline of the players. And the second question, listen, let every team play qualification. And nowadays you have seen Liechtenstein losing. The Liechtenstein team in the last qualification in Europe, they have made absolutely great results. I don't know if the team is now weaker than, or if you say the Faroe Islands, perhaps it was because of the wind. No, but let them play, because to play against a big team, it is something very important. And finally, we have asked also the confederations how they want to do the preliminary rounds. But give the hope to the national teams in all the world that they have at least a chance to go into the World Cup. And not making a preliminary round with the so-called last in the FIFA the FIFA ranking, the last one. Let them play and let them have a surprise and let them have this hope that one day they could win. When Faroe Islands started to play and they win the first match, they won against Austria. That was historical. So by the way, in the next date somewhere, I'll be in Faroe Islands. I have to visit the Faroe Islands. I will be there, so we will see that.
And you know,
Thank
Brian,
you for your question.
And you know, Brian, the big points you make against the small countries. Against the big ones, you can lose. Against the small ones, this is a wise word of a famous player. So, maybe the letzte noch. Huh? Last question, really last question, and then...
Oh, the lady has a question there.
Oh, sorry. Graham, I'm sorry. Please.
Thanks, Mr. President. Yes, at the beginning, you mentioned that you didn't have anything to talk about Brazil, the World Cup in 2014. Of course, you talked a lot about the time of the games, but don't you have any concern about the deadline of the construction of the stadiums or accommodation, anything like that? Is everything going so well that you don't have anything to mention about Brazil?
I like, lady, I like your question because this is a confirmation that really you listen what I say. That's a compliment for me. Thank you. I said in my presentation that I will not speak about the World Cup in Brazil for 2 reasons. Because we are ready now to go to Brazil, and secondly, this is the project of this Secretary General. We have agreed with the authorities in Brazil that the president of FIFA will deal with the president, Mrs. Vilma Rousseff, and the Secretary General with Aldo Robelo, and the local organizing committee, they will do it. But there is a lot to say about Brazil, but I wouldn't take the floor, take away something, because for me it was then important to say that we are already in 2018. But Brazil, they will be ready? Will they not be ready?
They have to.
They have to. Well, they have to be ready. Okay. The last one, it's his decision.
Yeah, the last one, because...
It's just to pick up on the match fixing.
Yeah.
Two very brief ones. One, what do you hope for in the Interpol report to the next Exco? And also in your message to players, FIFPro will say it's often the players who are the most vulnerable from pressure from criminal outsiders or clubs that don't pay them. You appeal to players to come forward. Can you protect them and look after them to make them feel safe in telling you what they know?
This is, thank you. This is, okay, the first part, the report of the Interpol, it will be, we want to present it to the Executive Committee. Our security organization in FIFA, we have a security director, and we have the Secretary General, who is also in charge of that. They are regularly in contact with the Interpol. They want to have some more details also about the organization of this office or this school in Singapore. The second part, and I had the opportunity yesterday to speak very briefly with Theo van Sekkelen about that. Naturally, it's the players. It was also said today to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Michel Platini said today also in the meeting that it's really the players are concerned, and we have to protect the players. Those they disclose it, because we have had some response or some feedback from players disclosing some activities, and then these players in a group of other players not being accepted again as player, because it is said those, ceux qui sont des rapporteurs, those une balance en France, en français, those they are not nice people. But here it goes for the essence of football, and they have to do it, and we have to protect the players. But the players must be protected also in their clubs, in their leagues, in their federation, by the FIFPro or whoever. But we cannot, FIFA, make a kind of umbrella over all the players. That's not possible. But your question is very, very pertinent. We have to protect these players, or also referees or coaches. But referees, I think it has, they have calmed down referees, but players are touched. And players can be touched also because there are players, they are not happy where they are. They don't play regularly, they are not paid regularly. There are some, they are still waiting for their wages and so on. And therefore it is not an easy issue. But we have to protect the players. That is essential, and this is what we have to do. And never forget that we can have the best teams and the best clubs and whatever, the best competition, even the FIFA World Cup. The actors are the players, and we need the players, and we have to protect these players. Thank you.
Thank you very much then. So we're going to see each other. Fabio Licari, scusa.
Speaking about the last question, we have in Italy Simone Farina. FIFA protect this guy, Simone Farina, every way possible. But what is happening now is that Simone Farina has no team now because it's not possible to play in Italy, or I don't know which is exactly the excuse. And second, we don't have so many news about protecting from Italian Federation. What FIFA think about this story? It's a very grotesque story.
On the second part of the story with the Italian Federation, this is, we are in contact and we're looking on that. They have a lot of problems and they report. But the case you have just mentioned is the case I've just explained about this player who has disclosed, and now he has difficulties to find a place in Italy.
We take him as an ambassador and we try to build something with him.
Yeah, he is now our ambassador. He is now our ambassador, and he is with, I think, Aston Villa team also.
He wants to play. So he wants to play. doesn't want to be ambassador at 28.
He's not a player, he's an ambassador. He is, I would say, this is something absolutely incredible, can only happen in a game. Should not. I started with match fixing, we end with match fixing. It's terrible. We have to fight. Ladies and gentlemen, help us to fight match fixing. Thank you.